It's Pro Tour Return to Ravnica. It's Rich Hagon and Brian David-Marshall with you. We're going to take you through some of the cards from Return to Ravnica that we might see in Modern. Not in Draft, plenty of those, but in Modern. So let's take a look. Our first set of three, and we begin with a 1/1 for 2 mana. Brian David-Marshall, explain yourself. What's this Fencing Ace doing
I have 2 words for you. Boros Swiftblade.
Okay.
4 copies of Boros Swiftblade in Ralph Levy's Domain Zoo list that he won back-to-back Grand Prix with.
2007.
2007, a 1/2 for 2 mana, red and a white.
Yep.
That had double strike. This is easier to cast.
Okay.
Has double strike.
Yes.
We have Rancor, which was not available at that time.
Okay.
We have Sword of War and Peace that you could put on this.
I have to put a flavor fail there. You can't give a Fencing Ace a Sword of War and Peace. It's an epee, a foil, or a saber. That's it. Civic Saber you can put on it.
But that's not on, Civic Saber is not on our cards to watch.
Okay.
And of course, like Gaia's Might or Honor of the Pure. Like, I think that, I don't know, but I think that this card might be something.
Okay. This monstrosity.
These are really ugly.
It really is. It like pushes the, yes. Not quite, yeah. Well, what's it going to do in Modern?
Well, it's going to be a zombie.
Yep. And that's a thing, right?
It may very well be a thing. It's been a thing. So what's really exciting about this Pro Tour is that the cards are available on Magic Online right now. There have been Modern queues where people can play with these cards right now. You can draft, you can play Modern, you can play Standard, all with Return to Ravnica on Magic Online.
Yeah, so you can watch round 1 and then go,
I like that deck.
yeah.
And so there have been some zombie decks. It just seems really exciting. I mean, obviously going to see this guy in Standard, but he has great stats. You can discard a Gravecrawler to him and make him bigger, and then play your Gravecrawler out of the graveyard, and he seems very, very good and very hard to kill.
I don't know whether you did this on purpose, but this isn't Scars of Mirrodin, and it feels like you've got another really little, dribbly little creature here. Tell us about Deathrite Shaman.
Deathrite Shaman's another card. Just very interesting, very exciting. You get to exile cards. I mean, we've seen Snapcaster Mage be a major force in this format. Where people are, choosing an instant or sorcery in their graveyard to give flashback to. Well, you get to respond with this guy.
Yep.
You get to gain life. He's an elf shaman. He has a number of decks that he can fit into. He's very cheap. I like this card a lot.
Okay, that's our first 3. Let's switch them over. We'll stay over this side of the wall. Let's see what we've got next. And, okay, well, this doesn't care whether it's a 1/1 or a double strike or a 1/2 or a 6/6. Right. Put it in the bin. Destroy a target creature or Planeswalker.
Right. One of the themes of Modern in general, by the way, has really been like spells that come out in the early game and have a big impact, right? I mean, we don't see a lot of. I mean, we were doing our Fantasy Pro Tour, and we're like, big creatures. Okay, I've got 1. Mid creatures, I've got a 3.
Kind of.
Yeah. It's so. I mean, Dreadbore is just efficient removal that deals with anything.
Yep. And in a format where you don't quite know what anything might be.
Well, yeah.
Anything's really good to know.
Anything being a creature.
Oh, sure. No. But a lot of big things.
Kills a Knight of the Reliquary, kills a Jace, whatever you want.
The killing continues with Abrupt Decay. And this time, no argument, it can't be countered by spells or abilities.
Right. So, I mean, one of the interactions we've seen people talking about with this card is in the Prismatic Omens Scapeshift decks.
Okay.
So, Prismatic Omens in play, all your lands are every basic land type.
Yes.
You Scapeshift and float some mana, and you get all these Valakites, which now are also all mountains and all trigger and do stuff.
Okay.
Well, with Abrupt Decay, you can kill that Prismatic Omens in response. They can't remand it. They can't Cryptic Command it. I mean, they could try. It just won't have any. It won't. Right. It won't have the desired effect.
Right. Okay. So that's a potentially a major player this weekend.
Right. And again, Knight of the Reliquary. Interesting though that it says can't be countered. It can be countered. This is my flavor fail.
Okay.
Apostle's Blessing to me is a card that I don't know if anyone's going to play it.
As in Paul Rietzl, Apostle's Blessing?
Yeah.
Because he played that in Amsterdam, right?
Right. Phyrexian white and 1. You can just pay 1 colorless and 2 life, and
Protect your guy.
Protect your thing from abrupt decay. It is counterable
Wow.
in that specific instance.
That would be pretty exciting to see. Let's move on one more. And again, now this is all about versatility. Is it charm? 3 different things. Counter a non-creature spell, lest they pay 2, deal 2 damage to a creature, or you can double loot, that is, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. Are you looking at one mode of this in particular? Or
Again, it's the flexibility, and I don't even know. There's plenty of other charms to choose from here too. We've got 5 total. They all do really interesting things. They all play a role. So a lot of people talking about Isochron Scepter. Wouldn't it be nice to see an Isochron Scepter deck come back?
Yes, it
we
would.
have Kenji Isamura and Masashi Uiso, 2 of the greatest champions of Scepter decks that we've ever seen. So,
Okay.
Maybe I love this card. I think it's really flexible. If they don't have creatures that you can kill, they might have spell. 2 for escape shift, or
Sure.
Counter your cryptic command, or
just got a lot going on.
it's got a lot going on.
We've got through 2 sets. Let's see with the 3rd time's the charm. No, it isn't. It's 2 blue. Now, you see, this worries me. This is modern.
That's fairly expensive
That's
for
a
modern.
big thing, right? So where do you think Jace might fit in?
Patrick Chapin's deck.
Oh, silly of me. Yes.
I mean, I don't know anyone who's watched incoming Hall of Famer Patrick Chapin play Magic over the last couple of years and didn't wonder immediately, will Patrick Chapin ultimate a Jace Architect of Thought and get a Cruel Ultimatum out of his deck and some card out of his opponent's deck and play them both for free?
Yeah, okay. Yes, and your Cryptic Command is in this format, obviously. There's an Uncounterable Wrath in this format with Supreme Verdict, so maybe he comes along and plays blue-white control.
But, there's a history. All 3 of these abilities are very good.
They're all real, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all real. I played at Grand Prix San Jose this past weekend.
Yes.
This was 1 card in my deck. It was very good.
Is it surrounded by 39 other cards that
Yeah,
enable you to
a couple
cast
of them
it?
flew and whatever, but yes. and honestly, this -2 ability was just tremendous.
That's the mini Factual Fiction.
Right.
You get to separate 3 cards, and then you get cards yourself. So pretty awesome Planeswalker. Sticking with the blue-white control theme, we've got Detention Sphere. Now, the obvious question from the get-go is 1 white and blue. Why wouldn't you just play super easy to cast, it's been around forever, Oblivion Ring? Why is this worth the gamble, if you like?
You've watched a lot of Modern. And, you imagine a situation where you've seen 2 Knight of the Reliquaries on the board at the same time.
Okay, so it's about
How much
we're
help
about
would
to lose.
How much help would that one? The Oblivion Ring would just give you like an extra turn. Yeah, this just deals with all of them. I can see a situation where someone empties the Warrens. A red Storm deck that plays a lot of spells at once, generates a lot of mana, empties the Warrens, makes 18 guys, says, I'm going to kill you next turn, unless you can deal with all, and then...
And maybe even zombies that are going to come back.
Absolutely.
You can empty the graveyard because it's exile, not just kill.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah,
So
I like
it's
that
well
colour.
worth the extra mana in terms of colour.
Yeah, the strain on your... But again, we're playing Modern. The colors are pretty easy to come by. They gave us a bunch of hallowed fountains and stuff again.
Okay, I'll be with you in just one moment because I want to check this. Exile the top X cards of your library for each instant sorcery card with converted mana cost X less among your power set card without paying its mana cost, then for all cards X is away that weren't cast on your graveyard. Yeah, that's what I thought it did. Really? Maybe.
This is my... I thought Fencing Ace was my speculative card, but this is my most speculative card. But so there was a Twitter flurry over the weekend as someone at States was 5-0 in Standard with an Epic Experiment deck.
Yeah, I saw that.
This card feels like Mind's Desire to me. This card feels like Mind's Desire to me. I get to, play all my red rituals, so my Seething Songs and my, whichever assortment of them are still legal,
Past in Flames
and just
and all that
get
kind
your
of stuff.
mana going, make a lot of mana, play this, 6-7 cards, reveal them all off the top. Well, maybe you reveal an Epic Experiment and a Remand. And then you remand an Epic Experiment to your hand, and then you play some mana cards, and you... Hey,
Oh,
so
God. Really?
I don't know.
Wow.
I haven't seen the results of people playtesting sessions yet, but this seems like the kind of card that people are certainly going to try to break. It has a tremendous amount of upside.
It feels like Mind's Desire to me. Copyright, Brian David-Marshall, 2012. Because when a card like that wins the Pro Tour, you better believe we're going to remember that you said it here first.
And you'll forget if it doesn't. That's the best part.
Hey! All right, so just some of the cards from Return to Ravnica that we're going to see over the weekend. Fencing Ace to Epic Experiment. That's a hell of a format right there if you've got those two in contention down the stretch. Join us, won't you, for all 19 rounds. For Brian David-Marshall, I'm your host, Richard Hagan, saying bye.